Everybody else shows up, that's great. If not, that's great too. My name's Sean. I think I met mostly everybody, but if you want to introduce yourself, feel free. I'm Sean.
My name is Rada.
Rada, nice to meet you.
Kelly.
Kelly, nice to meet you.
Abdul.
Abdul, cool. Have you guys ever sold new construction before? You've done a couple?
One.
Not brand new. I've done resales, we're not brand new.
Got you. So I'll go into kind of like the Lennar breakdown, and then I'll tell you why you should call me directly. So, alright, so America's most admired home builder. Again, I didn't make this presentation, so it's good. So we've been around since 1954, and we build literally every type of product. We build townhomes, carriage homes, active adult communities with amenities, active adult communities without amenities. We build luxury homes. I'm pretty sure this is actually like a Lennar home. Down in Florida, the beach houses they build down there are gorgeous. Down in Delaware, the active adult communities we have going up with the low taxes are gorgeous. So if you have people that are thinking about coming from New York and they don't want to pay taxes anymore, Delaware is a great place to land. PA has a ton of communities. I think everybody knows like PA suburbs is probably like the hardest place to find new construction deals now because it's so saturated and it's so built up. But there's still a lot of stuff out there, and we go after a lot of it, and that's what I was already talking to you about. We are always looking for land deals. So if you have a land deal, bring it my way too. But for the purpose of finding your buyers a nice new home, we're an awesome option. So we like to say everything's included. I usually tell people this: it's the nicest resale you're ever going to find with a better warranty. Okay, so just like a resale, I can't really make any changes to the homes. Once our homes are started, they're locked in. Everything's purchased, paid for, and permitted ahead of time. And we're such a machine that if you said to me, "Hey, I like site 88 at this site in Delaware you have. When is that set to complete?" I can tell you, oh, that's actually set to complete spring of 27. So we're not the type of builder where you walk in the door, you pick your site, you sit in the design studio, you add everything up, and then they get to a bottom line and say, "Hey, this is the price. Do you want to move forward?" We're actually the exact opposite. We're going to build everything. We're going to spec everything. And we're going to put all kinds of nice options in there, and we're going to sell those homes as is with everything included. So all your appliances are going to come with washer, dryer, refrigerator, everything you need is in the home. So you just show up with a toothbrush and a couch, and you're good to go.
Yes.
Amazing.
We make it pretty easy. I would say 90% of the time, most people love this process. The people that don't fit in, and I say it right away when I meet somebody, we are not a custom home builder. So if you're looking to make a custom home, we are not a good fit. I have no problem saying that. It doesn't hurt my feelings that you want to build a custom home. But it happens all the time where I get somebody under contract and then 6 weeks later, they're like, "Can I change my cabinet color?" Can't. Everything is pre-purchased, planned ahead of time, so I really can't even make the smallest of changes. I will say this, Lennar started this a little bit last year. On a home site that is completely dirt, hasn't started at all, concrete hasn't been touched, it's not gonna start for 3 more months. I could make personalization changes. Can't really make structural changes because we really just don't do that. But if you said, "Hey, I want to sign, but I hate white cabinets, I really want dark cabinets," great, let me see what I can do. In those instances, I can maybe make something happen. But the stuff you're seeing in these pictures, these are actual like building plans and appliances and stuff we put in. So we use all Whirlpool products for all the appliances right now. And with the warranty you get a 1-year everything warranty. So everything down the nail pops is going to get taken care of on the 11th month. I tell my clients to make a big punch list. You have a customer care portal and assigned person that you're working with. So you can send them an email and say, "Hey, this is all my stuff on my list." Big stuff, if it does come up, it happens. If something major happens, they're gonna come out right away and fix that. For all the ticky-tack little stuff, I just tell people make a big list. They'll come out on the 11th month. 2 years for all your major mechanicals. So really don't have to worry about anything there. And then they all have factory warranties. I always recommend people call them in as well. And then 10 years for the entirety of the structure, meaning like the slab's not gonna crack, the foundation's not gonna crack, the roof's not gonna fly off, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So they're not gonna warranty the roof specifically, like if you have hail damage to your roof, that's a homeowner's insurance claim, you know what I mean? If the roof construction is faulty, yes, that's gonna be part of it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They're gonna weigh it out, they're gonna talk through it with you and show you why yes or why no. But I would say like we're all human beings in this process and they want to make people happy, so. That's always in the back of their minds. So just some of our standard features that are not standard everywhere else, because again, like you guys are probably going into Ryan Homes, Toll Brother Homes, NVR Homes, and seeing all these small customizations, but all those things cost money. Whereas with us, it's already baked into the price, so your client doesn't feel like they're getting hit for every little thing. So You walk into our homes, lighting packages is included, you're gonna get LED lighting in all the first floor areas and the master bedroom suite. You're gonna get LVP flooring in all the downstairs area, plush carpeting in all the bedroom suites. You're gonna get luxury vinyl tile in all the bathrooms, quartz countertops are our standard level spec all around. And then subway tile backsplash, depending on the community, you would have subway tile backsplash, soft close cabinetry with hardware. So a lot of the stuff that everyone else is gonna charge you an arm and a leg for, we've already baked into that price. So here's just some of our actual active communities right now. We have Farmview, which is out in Perkiomenville. Those are going anywhere from like 750 to 900, depending on options. Fully finished homes with finished basement, they top out at close to 5,000 square feet. I will tell you, so Farmview, great incentive program going on there originally. Still awesome incentives, but for the first two sales of Farmview, they offered to come off of 6%. So an $800,000 house, somebody was getting a $48,000 commission. Not a bad year. And Lennar does stuff like that all the time. I usually tell my agents, Lennar might not love that I say this, but I say everything's negotiable. So if you come in and you say, hey, I have a buyer agency signed at 2.5, I have to get that. Great, make that part of your offer. I'm not gonna say I can get it automatically, make it part of your offer, see what I can do. You know what I mean? They're getting incentives all over the place, so we can make that one of them if we have to. River Point is out in Bridgeport, right behind King of Prussia, probably the closest thing to here. These are really solid, nice townhomes out in that area. That's pretty up and coming, and the price point on them for a 4-story with a rooftop deck, you'd be under $600,000. Not bad at all. Yes, it would do. Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all. And then Venue at Winchelsea is down in Delaware. That's right outside of Middletown, Delaware. So for your retirees, they have a tax rate of 0.85%. So think about that right off the bat. And after 10-year residency, they are exempt from taxes. So depending on what what they're looking to do in their retirement, that might be a great fit. For a single at Winchelsea with a finished basement, you're probably not going to go over 600. For some of the bigger ones, so just keep in mind that house looks like a nice little rancher. That house specifically is probably close to 2,000 square feet above grade.
And how all along it?
It's all in one floor. They're like posted stand by.
Okay,
They're like active adult really isn't about the privacy, it's about the community.
Right.
But so you're not gonna get like a ton of land with them. Some of our communities, we have one down in Dover, backs up to the woods so that people can get a little bit of privacy or they feel like it is. But yeah, with a finished basement, some of these come in at like 3,500 square feet of finished space. So I mean, you're getting a lot of space, yeah.
And what is the HOA there for the one?
HOA at Winchelsea is $190 a month.
And then for River Point?
River Point, I want to say it's under 200. All of our HOAs we start them and then we release them. So like, right, they have a property management group already built in, but we are the board to start the build. And then as it continues and progresses, we pull away and we start electing members to the board.
God.
What was I gonna say though? As far as what our HOAs really cover, a lot of time is snow removal, trash, and lawn care is like the base package, basically. We're not a condo association. A lot of times we don't have amenities in our communities. The Venue at Winchelsea has a 5,000 square foot clubhouse with a pool. It's an awesome amenity. It's gorgeous, and that's still under $200 a month. So we don't want to have the $400 to $600 a month HOAs, if we can afford it. What do we got next? Some of the photos from some of these actual homes. Like this is an active adult community, but just so you can see like what you're gonna get in our finished homes. Now, the one thing I will put out there right off the bat, we do not do like finishes. So like crown molding, share rail, that kind of stuff. We don't do that. We just don't do it because it keeps our costs a lot lower. Fixture lighting is a huge revenue stream for NVR and toll. We put pre-wires in all the rooms that we have fixtures anyway, because I know you can go to IKEA and get a $200 lamp, and I'm not gonna charge you $2,500 to install it. So, you know what I mean? Like, that to me is like the big time saver, money saver, is we're gonna do stuff like that to keep our costs lower, your costs lower, but then they can go back and personalize it any way they want. That way they're not coming in and going, oh, I want shiplap, but I didn't know it was gonna cost me that much. It's like, yeah, that's how much that'll cost to a builder. Just like kind of like when you auction out your car through the dealership, it gets crazy. You know what I mean? So, what we got here? Home of full service from the moment of remember you start your search closing day where you're at your service. This is actually super true. So what happens in our process? You meet me, you bring your clients in. I just ask you to show up the first time. We all understand what procuring cause is, right?
Yeah.
We all just went through those last 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's tired of this conversation, but I try to make it as easy as possible because I was in your shoes for the last 15 years as well. I was an agent with KW Power until last year. So the one thing I tell people is bring clients in, get them registered. I don't see you again until closing. It is what it is. As long as you were the one to show up and show me that you're bringing them in, I'm happy with it. From that point on, though, they go under contract with me. They have me as a point of contact. Then they're going to get Tara or Ava, our customer care concierge. They're going to be their main point of contact as far as like all the questions that they're going to have. Again, they're still going to call me, but they have other people to call. Customer care is going to bring in construction warranty to do a new home orientation walk so that they can see any issues with their house. We call it like the blue tape walk. You go through and you put up every little thing that you see wrong. Construction comes in and says, yep, we're going to fix all that. Great. We come back a week later for our settlement walk. Everything looks the way you want it to look. Great. And we can settle and move forward on the home. That way there's nothing outstanding for warranty. Warranty's not like, hey, we didn't address this. We'll get to it in 6 months. Like we don't want that. And then as far as like pre and post drywall inspections, you're fully allowed to have a third party inspector. Can't tell you not to at all. The one thing I will say is I can't sign off on any addenda. So if you send me an addendum, I can't touch it. When you get in resale, when you get that inspection report, you send over the change in terms. We're not gonna do a change in terms. You're gonna send me the inspection report. I'm gonna send it to construction. Construction is probably already addressing half of it because they see it too. Our CMs are fantastic. My guys are so good. Like, they see it too, so they go through and like, nah, I don't like that beam. We're getting rid of that. I've had where a client called me and they were like, yeah, we feel like we got a lot of big things like right now. We got some big issues. And I send it over and my guy's like, we've already solved 4 of those issues. Like we were already on that before they got their inspection. That's cool that they spent the $600 to get a home inspection, but we were already doing that anyway. So, you know what I mean, for your peace of mind, get the home inspection so your clients are like super happy with it. But at the end of the day, just know like, you're gonna send me that report and I'm gonna do everything I can to get 99 out of 100 taken care of. You know what I mean? So made it pretty easy.
What, cause I never did new construction
Yeah.
before, are you able to negotiate the price or is that like just?
So again, with many of the custom builders, no, they're gonna say, this is our base price, these are the options you got, this is the new price. Do you wanna move forward? With me, like right now, I have homes for sale, $600,000 in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. Really, really nice, three bedroom townhomes, 2-car garage. You came in today and said, we would sign today for 585. Great, let's see if we can get that done. You know what I mean? Like, I will say with Lennar, you're probably not gonna go over asking like you would with a lot of the competitive markets right now. But yeah, I mean, if you bring me a viable, qualified buyer, they don't love the price, well, let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Same thing with the incentives. I haven't even really gotten to any of the incentives. Lennar is basically like, Lennar knows they have more money than everybody. So they're gonna use that to their advantage. And I'm not even trying to be funny because we're just candid about that the way we talk. My boss, my VP of sales says it all the time. We will not be outsold by somebody else's incentive. We will beat their incentive every time. So like, we're not gonna get pressed in that.
And you guys are offering compensation too?
Yeah, so our compensation starts at 2% of base less the incentive. So let's say the base price of the home, it's a $600,000 home, it's a base price of 5, right? Maybe that's true. That's usually not how ours would go, but just for round number purposes. You get paid 2% of 5 minus, let's say they got $40,000 in incentives, and you get down to 460, 2% of that. So it comes out to probably 1.8% of purchase price. But again, if you call me and say, I have to get this, great, let's at least put that in there and see what we can get you. I've seen agents get full like $10,000 to $15,000 bonuses depending on the quarter too. Big thing to remember with us, again, like, don't send this back to my bosses, but we're a publicly traded company. We report numbers to Wall Street every Monday. We need those numbers. So if you come to me at the end of Q2, they're gonna get real aggressive. You come to me at the end of Q4, it's the most aggressive thing I've ever seen in my life. I saw in November last year, I saw homes that were getting discounted $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 off the list price because they wanted to get numbers. And they're like, we don't care, we'll do it.
Sean, does your HOA prevent any short-term rentals, or do you guys have?
We typically don't allow short-term, but long-term is fine. So 12-month leases are fine. We really don't want to get into like having an active adult community where some guy owns 10 Airbnbs.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, So we don't allow the Airbnb or the short-term rental, but we can do a 12-month lease.
And that leads into my second question. If I were to bring in an investment group that is looking to take down multiple parcels, does that?
We have a whole other program for that.
Okay.
So you can buy like a block,
Yes,
and then that becomes like, because it's still 5 individual sales. However, we're obviously gonna negotiate a better price for somebody buying all 5.
exactly.
So,
And
yeah.
does that change the commission structure as well? Or do I?
Yes.
Okay.
So for your point, if you wanna bring them in individually and go through all the work of getting individual, now they're not gonna get the same discount, so it's really only benefiting you the most. But I think what Lennar does is because you're buying a building and they're gonna bundle it as one, they reduce the commission, but it's on the total price, so you know what I mean, like,
It levels itself.
I mean, you're gonna get a nice check.
Right,
You know what I mean? It's not like it'd be like Ryan, where you get $500 home, so,
right. Okay,
yeah.
okay,
I think it goes down to 1% in that scenario after you buy more than 5 at the same time. But if they were buying like 3, it would just be 3 individual sales, you would get the 2% base.
and correct me if I'm wrong, but if we buy phase 1 versus phase 2, phase 3 of the site, that changes as well.
Typically, as we go along, we're gonna do incremental price increases like the market would. We have to
Okay.
just, I always tell people this, we are gonna react just like the resale market because of how we build. With custom builders, like Toll might not start a 4-pack until they sell all 4. So if you're the first buyer in there, you might wait 3 months before they even start your home. With us, when you come to my site at Phoenix right now, you're gonna see 5 different stacks that are started and only like 2 out of that building, 1 out of that building sold, you know what I mean, like, we just build.
Got it.
So if it comes up where, okay, this is about to complete, we don't have any interest on it, we're gonna reduce the price, just like you would for your listings, you know,
Yeah.
we're gonna do the same thing that you would do for your listing. So that's where I say, hey, you come in and this house is fully completed, and we have a quick move-in special going on, or whatever it is. And you say, you know, I saw that advertised, you're doing 5.25 plus that price. We want that rate, but we want a little bit lower price. Great, let's start there.
Got it.
Would there be a situation where you have a house like that that's sitting and it's like a buyer who says, well, I really want the sunroom on the back, would you guys like do that for them, or?
We can't add, I can't. So everything is permitted and purchased and kind of thought out so far in advance that I can't do that because the township's not gonna give us the new permit. The concrete would have to be different, you know what I mean? The electrical would all be, everything would be so different at that point that I can't just, it's not like
Take it or
we
leave
have to flag it on there, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But I have had people say, I really want that with that sunroom. But you don't have one right now, and I say, well, listen, this one hasn't started yet, and I can now let you pick your colors. It comes at the premium of, obviously, just like your listings, I'm not discounting something that's 6 months out yet. Because it's far out, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's basically,
It's like tile color, or tile stuff, or?
again, after it's started, it's locked.
That's what I-
So unless it's like something where I've had like a few instances where people like really push. It's like, I'm not moving forward unless you change my cabinet. So it's like, okay, well. And sometimes, honestly, it's a coin flip. My boss might be able to do that thing and go, I don't care, I'll sell it to somebody else and tell them to walk.
Depends
What do you want in the world? Yeah. Depends what we need, you know what I mean? I mean, think of it that way, like, I'm working for a giant seller. And I mean, we all know what their attitudes are like.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They're not always gonna make the most sense, but they're gonna do what they wanna do, and it's their property, and they're allowed. So that's kind of how I look at it with Lennar. Monday sale, like if I call my boss with a stupid offer on a Monday, he's like, it's Monday. If I call him with that same offer on a Saturday and I haven't sold anything that week and we're late, they'll go, all right, let me take a look real quick. So,
I guess.
you know what I mean? It's all about the play of the day, you
You
know?
guys are big enough to make some moves or small enough to make some decisions.
Of course, yeah. And I mean, realistically, we wanna make people happy. We want people to rave about us. We have a lot of the same, the big reason I switched from KW to Lennar is there's a lot of similarities in the mindset and the culture. So we want happy, raving fans of Lennar. We want people that are like, hey, I'm gonna talk about this guy all over the place. Like, I have people that are down in Delaware, they're like, I'm still giving your name out. Is that cool? I'm like, I'm not in Delaware. And they're like, well, I'm gonna give your name out anyway. I'm like, okay. Cause we want that kind of response. We want people who are like, no, man, you gotta call Sean. You know, same thing you're trying to generate here, you know what I mean? You want people like,
Yeah,
he's the man, like,
Yeah.
that's what we're going for too. So this is all of our active in PA and Delaware only. So I'm part of the Philly metro region, and what that is if you type in, oh, I can send you a link for this too, by the way.
okay,
If you literally type in Lennar, Greater Philadelphia, you'll get our site, you'll see the whole map. If you just type in Lennar, you'll see all 26 states, you can shop real easily from our site. Pennsylvania and Delaware, so Delaware's got what, 5 communities right now, and there's another one coming,
A lot of old
PA,
people in Delaware, huh?
what's that?
A lot of old people in Delaware.
It's the number 1 state retiring,
So.
came out last 2 years, PA was the number 1 state 2 years ago, and last year was Delaware.
Look at that.
Yeah, well, you should hear, people from Long Island, I mean, any New York agents here? You got people,
I
who
used
come-
to be.
you got people who come from Long Island, they're telling me they're paying 30 grand a year in taxes.
Yeah.
I tell them their tax bill in Middletown, they're like, that's less than 1/4 of what I pay. I mean, you're talking
We get a lot of
about.
New York buyers that come here too, that, you know. that
Yeah, same
buy a
thing,
$10 million house in New York is a $2-3 million.
right, and you're like,
Yeah.
this is amazing, I buy whatever I want. I had a friend, one of my friends that was just at this office and just recently left, he was like, he's got a $5 million lead. And this guy's coming from New York, he's like, so excited, because he's like, I can buy whatever I want down here, everything's yes. I'm like,
Unfortunately, that's their attitude.
yeah, yes, yes. So, yeah, so right now we have River Point, downtown, Phoenixville, and Farmview. I have stuff coming up in Lancaster County, I have stuff coming up in Lehigh Valley. We're gonna have stuff in Quakertown, so like, a lot of like the suburb region, it's tough to get into the city anymore, because there's just not a lot
What
to
about Bucks? You guys going to Bucks?
What's that?
Bucks County?
Yeah, we go to Bucks, yeah, all of that greater PA region, like that greater Philadelphia region, we'll be in there. And even with that, like, if you had somebody that was like, hey, I'm trying to liquidate a block of row homes in West Philly, give me a call, like, we'll see what that looks like. You know,
Got it.
they're gonna look at everything,
Got it.
so. Alright, so this is some of the stuff you'll see coming out like right now, like, where did JP go? One of the flyers we'll get to right now. If you're putting 10% down, they're advertising on a $600,000 house, they're advertising 4.5% interest rate. Everybody's like, whoa, how do you do that? So we have a program called our National Forward Commitment. What we do, like last week, we bought $200 million in points from the Fed directly. So for this program, there's a back end cost and a front end cost, because we can't contribute more than 6% in seller assist. So to avoid those limits, what we do is we have a back end cost, I think it's on this bucket, it's 8.5 points, and then we add more points to it on the sheet. So you have 8.5 off of the sheet, another maybe 3 to 5 on the sheet, depending on what the rate we got is. But that's what's being advertised. So you can imagine, like, somebody comes in and says, hey, I saw that being advertised, but I wanna knock 10 grand off the price. All right, let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Again, I can't promise everything's gonna happen exactly the way you want it. You're gonna get countered, but you're gonna get close, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're gonna get a better deal with us than the other major builders, is the bottom line. DR doesn't have this program, Toll does not use this, Ryan doesn't use this, they offer cash incentives, or they're gonna say, hey, we'll finish a basement for you, you know what I mean, that kind of thing. So with this is like a 30-year conventional product, Fannie and Freddie, and VA and FHA are applicable, so like, we just check my rates for it.
Whatever.
Yeah, so you could have a no money down buyer come to me and say, I wanna get 100% financing. Cool, I can lock you right now, today, I think the rate I could do is 4.99. We'll lock you at 4.99 for 30 years. And you can recast and you can. That's a 30-year fix. Yeah, it's 30-year fix. Yeah, let me pull it up real quick. Just to give you guys an idea of like what I have to look at. Yeah, I love when somebody comes to me and they're FHA, they're like, I don't have a lot of money, and then I was like, dude, I can actually really help you guys out, so. It's like even more fun for
Your
them.
name, Lennar Mortgage? Lennar Mortgage?
Lennar Mortgage, yeah.
You guys have a mortgage company, right?
Yeah. Lennar has mortgage, title, and insurance all built in-house.
Makes sense to do so.
So like right now, if you came to me and said, I'm looking for a September close, I could probably target 4.99, no problem conventional. For FHA, the starting rate I would have to target is 4.75. And then for the VA, it's 4.625. Those are my starting rates for September in this program.
So what he's telling you too, is you guys can take a higher rate and a credit.
Well, yeah, so this is like an end order, right? So like that incentive typically costs us anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000, depending on the price of the loan, right? So that means I could essentially, if you came to me and said, I'm actually cash, I don't really care about financing, great, I could probably pay all of your closing costs out right then, and then we could discount the house a little bit. all would be reasonable for us. So, like I said, we will not get out incentivized, for sure.
Very much.
Oh yeah, and then this is some of the stuff that the agents kind of see. Again, once you kind of get logged into our system, you're gonna emails from us and all that stuff, so if you guys all send me your email today, I'll make sure you get logged in. But Black Friday, we sent out this bonus, I had somebody who got a $10,000 bonus at Copperleaf, one of my communities in Delaware. So on their sale, they ended up netting $23,000 in commissions. On one $700,000 sale. Which by new construction standards is pretty amazing, by resale standards, that's like standard almost, but you know what I mean, so. What do I got? Is that it? Am I done? I think it is. Alright, cool. And then. So. Like this is one where we're advertising right now for downtown, so we have market rate around 7.25, it changed again, this was, 4 days ago, so. Now we're probably at 6.875, this is what they're saying, like, now this is a select home site, so there's gonna be fine print, it's advertising. McDonald's burgers don't look like that in person, so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, so there's always the fine print says this is a specific site that's priced at this, so. If all that fits, then yeah, but you can see the immediate difference in monthly payment is absurd, so. If you have anybody that's sitting on the sideline saying, I'm waiting until they drop under 6, you could say, well, what if I can get you under 6 today? And now they don't have to wait.
How many bedrooms is this bedroom and bathroom?
This guy for Downtown, they're all 3-bedroom, with basements. The
3 and 2 baths or
Yeah,
3?
2.5, I think, yeah.
Two and
So
a
there's
half.
always gonna be a master, like a primary suite bathroom, and then like the secondary hall bathroom. Like even my next one is, let's see, these guys, this is what I sell. Not this one. This guy, this is what I'm selling. This is the traditional like 3-story townhome. We also have a stacked townhome. And the stacked 2-bedroom that's hanging out right around like low floors has 2.5 baths. So everybody gets their own bathroom and you have a hall
That's
bathroom.
PITI,
What's that?
is that PITI?
Or is that principal interest or just?
Like both tax and insurance?
That should be with taxes and insurance, yeah. That might be, that might be.
I wish they were single house.
Wait, what you say?
I wish they were single
Oh,
house.
he's got a single house fire, we're not, yeah, right there.
So that's up in Park Unionville, they're just under $1 million.
That's a cheap payment for another house.
That's not bad for $1 million property.
Yeah.
I mean, the assumptions in all these scenarios are 20% down, but again, with FHA, you could have a 3.5% down buyer, and I can still get them this rate. And typically for this rate buy down in the conventional sense, you have to be over 740 credit. For FHA and PA, I think the range is 640 to 699, still qualifies, so you're awesome, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you have an in-house person that's gonna match everything I'm talking about.
No, we will beat it.
You'll beat it.
We'll give you the rate plus $100 lender.
There you go. There you go.
Amazing.
Do we have any other questions about like what
Your contact,
stuff
that's
works?
just-
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna email everybody for sure.
And then what materials you guys use for the home? You said quartz is a standard and.
So quartz countertops are standard, subway tile backsplash is standard like 80% of the time. So we have A, B, and C specs, like we have spec levels.
Yeah,
So on an A or a B spec, which is typically what I'm in. We have quartz countertops, LVP, luxury vinyl plank flooring. We have 5 different color options there, 4 different luxury vinyl tile color options. Soft close cabinetry with 42-inch shaker cabinets are standard. And then hardware on all the cabinetry. Subway tile backsplash. Did I miss anything? Oh, and then like mowing finishes on all the sinks and stuff like that.
Yeah, these are normal operates for everything.
If you go to Ryan and you say, I want my home to have LED lighting, that's 9%.
Yeah.
So like, you know what I mean, like everything. I have a colleague, she works for JS Homes, which is down in like Delaware, Jersey primarily. When you wanted flooring, there was no flooring included in price, in base pricing. So when you want floors,
on top of
it was like 25 grand and you had to go buy it from the wholesaler with them.
You went real hardwood.
I mean, like, but like, imagine you're like, yeah, I wanna buy a house, like, well, it doesn't come with anything.
Yeah.
At 500,000, that's just the base price, and now we're adding, well, you want lights, and you want floors. So now we're at 450 already, you know what I mean, it's like, so, we try to avoid that whole schematic.
Can I ask a question about upgrades? So you mentioned that the first floor and the primary bedroom gets LED lights. Where's the rest of the house there?
Well, the secondary bedrooms don't have lighting installed.
So
So there's like, yeah, there's like lamps, or,
Okay.
you know, that kind of stuff. Now, I will say this, all the homes we build are like easy to upgrade. So we have attic access in multiple spots with a single family on the second level. So if you're an electrician and you need to get in there and drop lights in there, it's not hard. You know what I mean? I had one quoted, I think for 3 bedrooms, they charged like $3,500. So it's like banged it out. They were moved in like, and then within a week, they had all their upgrades. They wanted 3 months. So that's the biggest, that'll be the biggest pushback I get from people. They're like, well, can I, not before closing, but after closing, my contractor will do that in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? So,
House, you do everything.
I mean, I have a woman, she bought a townhome down in our active adult community. And the way the bedroom's set up, it like, you have like, kind of like, you walk into the doorway and she doesn't like that, so she wants the door moved out. Okay, we're not gonna do that. I sent my contractor down there, he's like, dude, she racked up like 20 grand worth of stuff that she wants me to do, he's like, I'm happy to do it. So, she's happy, he's happy. She got the house she wanted, she got everything done mostly the way she wanted, but again, kind of like a resale, you're not gonna walk into somebody's house and go, I would buy your house today, but you need to change that next one. It's just not gonna happen, you know what I mean? So, we kind of operate in the same realm of, that's why I say it's like the nicest resale you're ever gonna get. And listen, for most of your buyers, 8 out of 10 is really where you're making offers, right? 10, I always said to people, 10 out of 10 homes don't exist, right? Like those are custom built, you made every choice. And I know people that have done custom built $3 to $5 million homes, and now they hate them. So, you know what I mean? Like, nobody's ever happy anyway. So, and then I would say like 9 out of 10 is basically a myth, but those are the ones that people are putting 20 to, 15 or 15 to 20% over asking on top of the list price. 8 out of 10 is like, this is a solid home, everybody wins, you can make a fair price and get a fair offer accepted. That's kind of where I feel like, not that our quality is 8 out of 10, but it's like, Lennar is gonna give you like everything you need, you're probably just not gonna check every single box you have, you know what I mean? But the quality's there, the warranty's there, the incentives are there, it's like, why would I say no to this?
So if we bring a buyer, we can't use like a separate mortgage company.
Yeah.
You guys have.
All of our incentives flow through our lender,
Oh.
so.
You can bring it.
But, yeah, you're allowed to do whatever, he is saying he will match my incentive.
Okay.
So basically, or he said beat it, so. If I tell you, I can get you 4.5% interest rate, and then you take it to him and say, they promised 4.5% interest rate, he's saying he can match it, then I don't care who you use the lender. The biggest- Yeah, well, here's the thing, I shouldn't say.
It'd actually probably be better if they use me, because they don't have to use their points and they go in the back end.
I would say this, I don't know that I don't care who you use, because every time I use an outside lender, and this is no event, I'm sure you're amazing. Thank you. The communication breaks down. When you have everything in-house, they're not gonna mess it up, right? But when it's one person is just like, oh, well, I'm out to lunch, it's like, dude, I need you to pay attention.
Right.
So, I'm not saying it's.
No, Sean, it's the same thing we pitch here, we have our in-house mortgage, title, everything, so it's just in here, you're not.
And I did the same thing when I worked for KW, everything went through Abstract One and like whatever other in-house title we had, so same thing, you know what I mean? Same idea, concept anyway. The other thing I should tell you too is, if you come in and let's say you're looking for a program that we don't offer, we are not like a massively well-endowed lender as far as like the products we offer, right? Where you guys probably have some crazy off-the-wall stuff that we just don't touch. If you're going after a program we don't offer, then I can offer you the incentives because we don't offer the program.
It's like we can go over the 500 credit score, I'm sure you guys can't talk anything.
I don't really want to mess with that yet. However, I will say this, we have home buyer credit solutions group built into Lennar Mortgage. So if you bring a credit problem that has a 500 credit score and they're like, I want to close by December, right now it's April. Okay, do we think we're gonna look at your file, this is all free, but we're gonna look at your file, analyze it, say, do we think we can increase your score by 150 points by December? If it's a yes, cool, this is what we need you to do. Granted, 9 times out of 10, it's the person has to pay off some debt, or something, they're gonna have to do work, right? That's where the breakdown usually is if there's a success rate to fail rate, the fail rate is the people didn't do what they were told to do. But if you follow along with it, HBSG has gotten gotten, I think like a dozen people so far this year improve their credit and all that. And so, and that's all free through the program. One of the other things that we don't do it in PA or Delaware really, but other parts of the country, Lennar has like a home buyer group basically, similar to what I think Berkshire and Century 21 used to do something like this. But basically, if you have a home to sell in Jersey and you're buying in Jersey, they will match the value of your home for the purpose of closing on your new home, basically. So they'll basically take that off your debt sheet and say, if this doesn't settle by the time you go to settlement, we'll buy it at this price.
So you don't have to carry.
Right. So instead of doing a bridge loan, we just sell it for you. But it's not really through a mortgage company, it's like another product that
Yeah.
we kind of we don't really offer it in PA, so
Hmm.
I don't talk about it as much.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
That's great.
How you guys feel about bringing new construction to the table now?
Absolutely.
I say this, like, I always tell my story, because when I was a realtor, I hated new construction. I didn't like quality, I sold NVR homes as resales that I thought were terrible. There was always stuff that came up on the inspection process that I was like, this is kind of a mess, and this was definitely the builder. So when I got recruited by one of my best friends, he was recruiting me for like 3 years. I was like, dude, I wouldn't sell new construction if it paid me $1 million, so like, no way. And the reason I chose to work with Lennar is he brought me to sites, I met construction managers, I saw the quality of what was going in there and how they operate, and I was like, oh, I could ethically sell this, like, I would feel good about this. I came from working in restaurants, so if I worked in a restaurant that had a dirty kitchen, I quit that restaurant, like, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I need the customer experience to be the paramount part of it.
So you consider an agent too, but what's your?
Technically, no. Technically, I have a broker builder's license. I hold a referral license with Cato Manpower.
Oh,
But technically, you don't need a real estate salesperson's license to sell new construction. Like in Delaware, you don't even actually need a broker builder license. You just have to take a test through the state of Delaware.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I want to send you that site.
Wow.
You want to text me?
Yeah, what's your program?
Area code 281 814 4194.
bro,
4194.
I get chat, man.
Yep. Text me that, we'll set up together, send it to you.
Yeah.
And then you connect me with the like.
You're upstairs.
First thing is about to. Oh, well, I'll just respond to that.
Yeah, respond to all your.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. Great meeting you.
Right.